everyone, my name's Austin and this channel is all about digging deeper and going further to better understand faith and film and everything that is in between. If that is exciting to you and you are new here, you can subscribe to my channel for a new video just like this one every Friday. And yes, this set is a little bit different this week. Things are just all over the place with this quarantine thing going on, so I figured, well, things are all over the place, let's change it up this week. I'm talking about Lord of the Rings, so I'm in front of my Lord of the Rings shelf. It's not all Lord of the Rings, just the one shelf on the shelf. But I wanted to continue in our series this week because there's nothing more comforting to me during this time of unrest than talking about Lord of the Rings. In case you haven't seen it in previous videos, I'll go through this really quick. I have various books and devotionals on the Lord of the Rings over here, my extended edition Blu-rays, my Gandalf mug, my Lord of the Rings Pez machines, my Atlas, Bestiary, and other official movie guides, and then of course the Lord of the Rings trilogy and The Hobbit as well, with a little Aragorn Funko. So that's pretty much the extent of my Lord of the Rings collection, aside from the regular movies on Blu-ray and having the blanket that you usually see draped over the background in my videos. It's really weird having all this freedom to like walk and move around. I'm not used to that for these videos. So where we last left off our heroes is the Fellowship has just been formed and they're about to depart to head towards Mount Doom. Now before we get to the Mines of Moria and all that takes place there, let's talk about Frodo and Bilbo's conversation first. This conversation is going to set up the theme that I want to focus on throughout this video. Frodo is preparing to leave and Bilbo presents him with two gifts. Sting, his sword that he obtained during The Hobbit, and a mithril jacket shirt type thing that is light as a feather and as hard as a dragon's chest. And he gives him these gifts, and when Frodo goes to try them on, Bilbo notices the ring around his neck and he asks him if he can wear it once more. When Frodo refuses, he gets a first-hand look of what kind of power the ring can have over someone. Bilbo lunges at Frodo in an attempt to take the ring, but he quickly retracts, ashamed of what he has done. He says, "I'm sorry that I've brought this upon you. I'm sorry that you must carry this burden. I'm sorry for everything." Frodo rests his hand on his shoulder, reassuring him of his forgiveness. But right now, we just got a very clear look at the burden and the real cost of carrying this ring has, and what type of effect that has on a person. I have reiterated multiple times throughout this series that the ring is a metaphor for sin, and obviously people carry it differently. People can use it in different ways, but in the end it is a burden that weighs heavily on a person's soul, and that is so perfectly portrayed through what Bilbo is going through, and when we soon meet Gollum, it's going to be even more portrayed physically in a way that is just memorable and sticks with you in a very powerful way. So the Fellowship leaves Rivendell, and after some time traveling, they are going up some snowy mountains. Frodo trips in the snow, dropping the ring. The theme of burdens comes up again as Boromir picks up the ring. He stares at it, mesmerized. He says it is a strange fate that we should suffer so much fear and doubt over so small a thing. This is one of the lines in the trilogy that has stood out to me most throughout the years because it perfectly puts into words the metaphor of the ring compared to sin. And it is, in reality, a very small and little thing, but we suffer so much and we go through so much fear and doubt as we struggle to overcome and move away from this little thing that has become so pivotal throughout human history. So as Boromir is holding it, Aragorn tells him to give the ring back to Frodo. He returns it saying, "As you wish, I care not," which is a lie. He completely cares. And he walks away and we see Aragorn removing his hand from the handle of his sword, clearly at this point already willing to do whatever is necessary to ensure the success of their mission. Okay, I want to jump to the Mines of Moria now. Now I know I'm skipping a couple of little scenes along the way to get the Fellowship there, but I want to continue with our theme here. This is where we will return to Gollum, who will soon become a major character in this story. So while the Fellowship waits for Gandalf to remember which way they're supposed to be going in these mines, he and Frodo have a brief but very impactful conversation. Frodo notices that they are being followed, to which Gandalf replies that it is Gollum who has been following them for a few days now. They briefly discuss it as Gandalf tells him how obsessed he has become with the ring, to which Frodo responds that it is a pity that Bilbo did not kill him when he had the chance. Bilbo counters that it was pity that got Bilbo out alive. He says many that live deserve death, but some that die deserve life. And he warns him not to be so eager to deal out death and judgment. We then approach one of my favorite moments in the entire trilogy, and Frodo reacts saying, "I wish the ring had never come to me. I wish none of this had ever happened." And we get the beautiful line, "So do all who live to see such times." But that is not for them to decide. We have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us. This line is quoted many, many times, and I love how in this video right here we are applying it to the theme of burdens. Obviously, Frodo is realizing the magnitude of the situation that he is in, wishing that this had never come upon him, but we see that Gandalf sees the opportunity here to encourage him in a way that not only applies to him and his situation right there, but something that can apply to us. Look at us right now. We are stuck in this quarantine, self-isolation, all this stuff that's going on right now. And we're wishing, a lot of us, I'm sure, that it never happened. But as Gandalf says, so do all who would live to see such times of difficulty. But what we have to do is make the most of the time that we are given and where we are placed. Obviously, God has a plan for everything that's going on right now. And He is challenging us to trust Him that He has a plan for this. There's a lot of things we may be missing out right now on, but God has a plan and He knows what He's doing. It's up to us to be diligent and use that time effectively in a way that will glorify Him. As Gandalf says, there are forces at work in this world besides the will of evil. He tells Frodo that he believes Bilbo was supposed to have the ring, which means that Frodo was supposed to have the ring. Similarly, there's not only the work of evil going on in our world right now. God is clearly at work. There are a lot of incredibly amazing things happening and wonderful ways that God is using the church right now through these trials. And God can use anyone in any situation to glorify Him and elevate our faith to an incredible level. It's up to us to not see our burdens as burdens, but opportunities to grow and develop our faith and ourselves. So we move into the Balrog now, and because of Pippin's full of atookness, in the words of Gandalf, the goblins are coming to attack them, bringing with them a cave troll. And so they are running in an attempt to get out. They all mistakenly awaken the Balrog, which is a demon from the depths below that is much beyond any of their abilities at this point. Even Gandalf says, "We're running." And so they run, and while they are just narrowly escaping, Gandalf stops to turn to face this demon. And obviously, as you know if you've seen the movie, he perishes and tells them to run and fly, and so they are off. But what I like about this is right now we're moving into the Easter season. Obviously Easter is just a couple days away from this video going up, and so it's very cool to be at this moment in this series while we're at this moment in time in real life. It is clear that they're probably not going to make it across this bridge and probably not going to make it out of here. So Gandalf turns and in a moment of selflessness chooses to sacrifice himself for the safety of the fellowship. Similarly, Jesus took himself and gave himself up as a sacrifice to save us and save all of humanity for those who are willing to accept the gift. Obviously, when it happened, just like in The Lord of the Rings, it was a devastating moment. The hobbits are just completely brokenhearted and do not know what to do next. But there is a hope that we know He will return. And just like in real life, we know that Christ is coming back. And there is such a beautiful hope in that message. He chose in that moment to carry the burden of sin for us. Gandalf chose in this moment to carry the burden and make that sacrifice. Obviously, it was a very difficult moment for everyone, and it came down to Aragorn taking up the leadership role and making sure that everyone was cared for, but out there and doing the mission that they were set to do. Much like the disciples being told by Jesus, this is your commission, go and go forward. Thank you for sticking around to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked doing it up here with this set, with the lurings in the background, let me know because I can continue it for the future of this series. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you're subscribed, make sure you like the video, and share it with someone who you know will enjoy it just as much as you do. Thank you again for sticking around to the end of this video. I hope you have a happy Easter, and I will see you in the next one.